On the East Coast, you're watching Squawk Box right here on CNBC. I'm Andrew Ross Sorkin, along with Joe Kernan and Becky Quick on a Friday morning. Among today's top stories, the trade war escalating overnight once again. China now raising tariffs on the United States and the United States goods to 125%, and then announcing that further U.S. levies would be viewed as a, quote, joke because American goods aren't marketable at those levels. So mathematically, there'd be no reason to export to China because there's going to be no market to buy those goods at those prices. Take a look at futures right now, up a bit after obviously the big drop yesterday, and we've been going back and forth here all morning, up about 230 points right now, 240 points. Perhaps more importantly, take a look at treasuries right now because we've been watching the bond market as a bit of a signal as to what's going on here. 10-year note, 4.395. Moved up a little bit. The 2-year sitting at 3.849. Take a look at European markets as well. We flip the boards. You're seeing a little bit of a mixed picture there. UK doing a little bit better. DAX off. You're looking at Italy off. I believe the Prime Minister in Italy is going to be trying to make a deal with the U.S. irrespective of what the EU does, which will be interesting. I don't know how that sort of breakaway will work or not, and I'm not sure, frankly, how much it matters.
All right, let's get to Dom Chu, and I've been instructed, Dom, by the Philistines, the overseers. I've been instructed by the man to not talk about Rory's collapse and to bury the lead. Not collapse, but he did have a rough couple of holes. But I've been instructed not to talk to you about that until the end.
So I also made a pledge, Joe.
So I'm not going to.
I made a pledge to those same overlords that I'm not going to address the Masters until at least after I get through the morning movers.
Right.
So
I will push back on the man.
But you're wearing green.
I am wearing green. So Stephanie Lake was wearing
we should
purple.
push back on the man. We all should.
I know, but you've got a lot more seniority in this place than I do, so I tend to follow orders on those fronts there. So, all right, so let's get through this because I do want to talk about the +4 finish that Rory had in the last 4 holes at Augusta National. But anyway, let's start with a check on some of the biggest chip stocks, maybe the epicenter we've called it, right, of the tech moves lower, all higher today, relatively speaking, after sliding about 6% yesterday. AMD was the worst performer of that group, down about 8%, and now AMD shares kind of moving higher to the tune of 1%, about 1% gains across the board for many of the big ones that we know. Taiwan Semi up 3.5%. Now, Citi is out with a note this morning, cutting its price target on NVIDIA to $150 from a prior $163. The bank is concerned about lower capex spending due to the ongoing trade war, so we'll keep an eye on those chip stocks. Now let's check out some of the biggest names in retail. Mixed after analysts at Mizuho initiated coverage of those stocks. The bank is starting coverage at outperform for Walmart and then also a neutral for Target and Costco. They expect Walmart and Costco to be more insulated from tariffs and a potential recession. Analysts there say that Target has lost some of its competitive edge and amid deteriorating same-store sales trends. So keep an eye on some of those retailers out there. And then we'll finish with a check on cryptocurrency. Bitcoin moving higher alongside with some of those crypto-related stocks. Bitcoin prices right now above 82,000. 82,600, up nearly 4%. And check out some of the names, again, in the ecosystem. MicroStrategy, Coinbase, Riot Platforms, Mara Holdings, all moving higher as well. So, Joe, Becky, Andrew, that is your current market moves at this point. And now I will say I still hold faith that Rory will bounce back.
That might have been it, because it was one of his best first rounds. And do you know when he collapsed it? You know how many years ago that was on 10 when he did that?
Yeah,
I couldn't. 14 years ago.
I think it was like it had to be a decade and a half ago at
2011
this point now. But it was also some of those things that were on Amen Corner and then into the back 9. Remember when Jordan Spieth? I think it was like maybe 6 or 7 years ago.
The chicken wing.
Yeah, and the par 3. Yes. So anyway,
I do that.
All of these things are interesting. What I find interesting as well is I think I saw some stat this morning that Justin Rose has now held a first-round lead at Augusta National more than Jack Nicklaus has. Right. Yep. So.
He's never won it in Jack.
Yeah, but the look in his eye yesterday, if I were a competitor, who knows? Because he's got to finish it. But the look in his eye, he was mad he missed that putt on 18. He was mad he had a single bogey the entire round. Anyway, thanks, Dom. That's all we'll do.
Yep.
We won't do any more.
All right, when we come back, more bank earnings. We're expecting Morgan Stanley numbers this hour and the impact of the U.S.-China trade war on the energy complex. That's next. Later on this morning, a first on CNBC interview with the Minneapolis Fed President Neil Kashkari. That is coming at 8 a.m. Eastern time. So many questions about what, if anything, the Fed will do. Squawk Box will be right back.